Alright, so it is now 2 days after Christmas. I didn't work during Christmas or the day after because it was so cold, bitterly cold. You see, we got some snow, finally, in Colorado. I think we got about 3 inches, but aside from all that, that's not the point.
We got the basic roughing out of the shape of the limbs done. As you can see here, there are some spots where you can see it's very, very rough. We're not going to worry about that now. What we're going to do is we're now going to do the shaping this way. So it's going to have a taper, a distal taper is what you'd call it, getting thicker to thinner as you go from one end, or from, one end to the other. And to do that, we're just going to keep using the plane. So you have to keep reading, get some Pringles, get some water. Let's get started with the next step. I'm the ElvenArcher. So, first you're going to take your ruler and you're going to mark 3/8 of an inch up from whichever side you want to be the front, which is actually called the back of your bow, the part that faces the target and not you. And then, after you've overkilled it with a big K-bar hunting knife, you're going to take your straight edge, in my case a yardstick, and you're going to draw from the point you made all the way up until you get to the outside edge of your handle. And then we'll shave it down. Do that on both sides. And make sure that you do the same taper on both sides. I've seen bows where people would do the taper going this way, down, and then they accidentally put the other taper going this way, which will not work well for you. So I got that part done. So the next part is just to round the limbs. I'm going to be using the plane to just do the basic idea, and then I'm going to use some 80 grit sandpaper, a rasp or a Sureform. I have a Stanley Sureform someplace, but I can't find it. So yeah. Down here, there's some rough spots, so I'm definitely going to have to fix those with the sandpaper before I continue. Like I said, 80 grit. I might be about done for today. The sun's going down and it's about 21 degrees out here. So yeah. Alright. So, it's a couple days. I went goose hunting yesterday. The day before I had other stuff going on. But this is the perfect time, because I'm working on it now, to show you my new workshop. Yeah. It's nothing too special, just a couple of lights and pegboard, but whatever. I also got for $10, I got every file I'd ever need. So I've got that. I raided my dad's drawer for sandpaper, and here's the bow, ready for sanding and rounding. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some, let's see, where is it? Here it is. This is 60 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to smooth out all the sides, all the rough spots, anything that needs work. And then we're just going to slowly progress through the grits, and then we're going to round it off. Alright, so we've sanded it up to 80 grit, and we're going to leave it there for now. So the way I'm going to round this evenly, so I'm going to take a strip of, I don't know, I think this is 80, maybe? I don't know, might be 100. But we're going to take it like this, and do a kind of shoe polishing movement along the bow like this, until we reach the desired shape. Now remember, that has to be basically rounded before this, so you'd use the Sureform or the plane. Or files and sandpaper, sorry. And yeah, we're just going to do that all the way along the length of the bow.
Alright guys, I don't know what happened to the footage that I just filmed. It got corrupted or messed up, deleted somehow. I'm not sure. It's really annoying. Because I can't just refilm it. But what I did is this rounding here. Sorry. So the end should look like this kind of shape, this D shape. And that should follow throughout the whole thing. If you've ever seen a picture of a traditional longbow, it's got this nice rounded belly. So yeah, that's what we did just now. Then the final part that we're going to be using, probably the final thing we're going to be using the Sureform for, and you can use the plane or sandpaper for this too. But we're just going to be cleaning up any spots that are rough. Let me find one, like here. Don't know if you can see it very well, but it's very rough. And that's why I didn't go all the way down to the lines on any part of the bow, because I knew I'd need to do this. Finished cutting the nocks in, and they're fairly deep. They're about probably half the file deep. So now it's time to move on to the final building step, I guess. We'll still have to tiller the bow and do all that later, but I've got this cloth. This is what we're going to use to back the bow. Now, this is not something that's totally traditional. Longbows were not often backed, but that's because of the wood that's used to create them. Yew is somewhat different from red oak. It's actually considered a softwood, which doesn't mean that you have to have a very thick bow to make it powerful. It's kind of an odd wood, and the bows, if you look at them, they have sapwood and heartwood naturally laminated together, so you don't usually need a backing. I need a backing because this is red oak, and it's a lot safer with one. So this is cotton and nylon blend cloth. I was gonna go with linen because it's a little bit more traditional, but linen is $10 to $14 a yard. So no. So yeah, that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna use 2 layers of it across the bow, and this cloth was $6 for all of it, by the way. The way I'm going to set this up is I cut it into a ribbon that is wide enough to fit over the bow. Obviously, it needs to be. So you're going to need to clean off the front of the bow. Usually if you just run your finger along it, that'll be good enough. You just need to make sure there's no big particles like this PVC dust. It's all over my workbench and stuff. So, and then we're just going to glue it on with regular Elmer's school glue. Not the greatest glue I could use, but it is the cheapest. And in this bow, since it is my first one, I thought I'd go for cheap instead of super nice. So the way we're going to do this, so I'm just going to put a healthy amount of glue. Not a ton, like don't drown it in glue, but don't skimp either, because it needs to hold.
Joy, light in my soul, the joy, making me whole. Though I'm broken, I am running into your arms of love. your arms.